exactly. So
I'm 12th Dan. Yeah.
I'm 12th Dan. Yes. Okay. Yes. Wow.
Yeah, okay. Welcome to the latest edition of Martialpreneur TV. It's me, Scott Patterson, and today, following on from our last interview, we have another expert who is also stepping up the game in the online space. Our guest is Richard McDowell, CEO of Martial Arts University Online. I asked Richard to come on the show to talk about his experience with starting an online martial arts academy. In the following interview, Richard openly discusses the processes that led to building the site and also a lot of great information on how he did it. This open and honest sharing of information is a true testament to Richard, and I'm sure is reflected in the quality of teaching he and his colleagues provide at the Martial Arts University Online. For those of you looking to start teaching online, Richard is also looking for opportunities to collaborate with other martial arts on his platform. So if you think you have some quality teaching you could share with the world, then get in touch with him. Now, before we go to the interview, I just wanted to ask you to share the love on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or any of your favourite social media places. You can also visit the Martialpreneur TV site and sign up for our free VIP newsletter so you'll never miss a thing. Now let's go and see what Richard has to say. Welcome to Martialpreneur TV. We have a special guest with us today. We have Richard McDowell. How you doing, Richard?
Hey, how are you? Nice meeting you.
That's great. Great meeting you as well. It's I've come across Richard. Just give everyone a little bit of a background. I was doing some research online for just looking at online training and different avenues of teaching online, and I came across your website, which was Martial Arts University Online, and it cropped up a lot of times in the top search ranks. It looked a great site, and it looked like you were doing some good stuff there. So I thought, well, I'll get in touch and see how you're doing. So that's just a little bit of background for everyone. But Richard, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit more and just let us know about your background in martial arts?
Sure. This is. Hi, folks. My name is Richard McDowell. I'm a Chief Master Instructor. I've been training for 48 years. I first started when I was 6 years old under Grandmaster Hwa Chung, which my father brought over from Korea actually to live with us for 3 years. Then I trained with Grandmaster Chung Soo Lim, and then I currently train under Grandmaster Edward B. Sell, which is one of the highest ranking American masters. So I was elected to the Martial Arts Hall of Fame in 1996. I trained 2 Olympic medal winners. Competed myself for many, many, many years. I'm a little older now, obviously don't compete no more. Love the competition, love the part, and the site was a really great thing for us to develop and design. I was really excited about when it came about and why we did it, and the response has been amazing worldwide right now. Worldwide.
I was going to say, I mean, initially, I know we just spoke a little bit briefly earlier on, and I was saying, I think I can see much more training online, sort of more specifically, a bit more interactive than just watching videos. But I mean, what was the inspiration to think? When was the moment when you was like, clicked?
Well, actually, it's kind of interesting because being in martial arts for 48 years, you really want to find a way to attract students. And I started doing some research on why students join martial arts schools. Mm-hmm. They learn for self-defense, being part of a group. But why do they quit? Why do martial arts students quit? They quit because they don't get along with the instructor. Mm-hmm. They're afraid of the ego. They're afraid of the work. They don't be part of that group. Maybe they're overweight. Maybe they feel embarrassed. They see this young stud doing a 360 spinning back kick, and they said, I can't do that in a million years. Yeah. You get this woman that class a bunch of men and stuff too. So that's why they have a very, very small retention rate. And one thing about martial arts, we found out that instructors that become black belts start getting a little bit of the ego. We all see it. We all had it. I had it too. And you get a little ego, and that pushes students away. So my really goal was to have everyone that has opportunity to learn or wants to learn martial arts anywhere in the world to be able to have the ability to train online. You don't have the ego for the instructor. You don't have to worry about the peer pressure from the student next to you. Sure. And you're trained and you're tested on your abilities. I got a gentleman right now in the university that's only uses half his body because half is paralyzed.
Right. Okay.
So and it's interesting because his instructor told him he couldn't be in his school no more.
Really?
So he came to me, and it's like that. Those kind of people that we attract, everybody that really still wants to learn, that was pushed away at one point in time. Plus, like we talked earlier in our conversations, that it takes you 2 days a week 3-4 hours a day. You got to drive to a location and spend the time. You got kids to take care of. You got a job to do. You got work. You go home and you're tired and go like, I don't want to go to class tonight. Yeah. But where do you do that? So that's the reason I developed that site, is really to address those concerns. The students that really want to learn martial arts of all types. Yeah. Our current focus is Taekwondo at this point in time. We'd like to add more to it. If we have people out there interested in putting more training on the site, we'd love to have them at the university. Right. But our focus right now is the Taekwondo, and it's a complete course from a white belt right to a black belt. And what we did is that when we started filming it, we took every bit of how to train a basic student, even how to hold your hand, how to hold your knuckles, how to curl your fist, how to make an actual block, how to punch, how to kick, how to walk, how to talk. So we broke it down so everybody can learn the exact same way. People learn differently, obviously. Mm-hmm. Most people learn visual. So if you actually can see it on a site and copy it and follow it, you're more apt to retain it in your own mind.
Okay. So how does that work with assessment? And I'm sure you probably get asked quite a lot, how would you clarify that your students are learning, or is there an assessment point, or how does that work?
Yes, there is. Actually, we have several ways. Each student that joins is actually assigned a advisor. Mm-hmm. And that advisor is one of our senior instructors, our black belts or masters throughout the world. And that person actually once a month will do a review with them, either online, personally, or by phone, and see how they're doing and stuff too. But our site is set up, you can actually upload yourself to be reviewed. You can upload yourself to the pre-testing board, to the testing board, or to your advisor. So you can actually, in your house, in your pajamas, do your own stuff. Whatever technique it is, and say, am I doing this right? Can you help me through this? So the interaction like we're doing right now, we actually can do that live with someone to help them. So the interaction is just like an instructor, but you have that interaction personal thing. So even during our testings, which is really great, is that once you join online and once you train online, you can test online and receive international certification. So you don't have to worry about going to a school. We test your rates just like we have a pre-test site, goes through a pre-test board, and then the testing goes through a national board, which actually is a certification board. So you can never have to worry about going across the country or down the street. You can do it from your own little bathroom if you really want to.
Hey, I think it's a bbrilliant concept, and I know there is sort of a bit of resistance to some groups who thought with martial arts who say it's never as good as face to face, or you won't be able to achieve what you can in a real class. But I beg to differ. Me personally, I think that from my experience with filming and videoing, when you watch yourself do a technique and you have to send something for a critique, and then you see yourself
critique yourself. Yes, there we go.
You suddenly go, what am I doing there? Why am I? And then, I'm sure a lot of your students probably don't send the first video that they were going to send.
No. What's interesting is that when we first started doing this, one of the biggest controversy was no physical contact with somebody. Yeah. So you don't fight with somebody and no two-man contact. And we found out so far that students that join end up finding a friend and said, hey, do this with me. And it's really kind of interesting that it's made for individual. Yeah. People are grabbing their buddies, say, hey, do this with me at my house. Yeah. And you start building your own little sources to yourself to train with.
Your own training group, yeah. That's fantastic. I think, there is, and I think as well, a lot of people don't realise now so much with online training how far it's got with interaction. Like you and me on Skype here, we can talk. You could show me anything, I could talk about it, and it's actually two ways now, and it's not so much just a set of videos.
Well, one thing I learned when I was growing up in the martial arts is that when I first trained, we used to work out 5 days a week. 5 hours a day was our class. That was our lifestyle. That's what we did. Tournaments every weekend. And your class started off, you did 100 push-ups, you did 100 sit-ups, you did 300 punches, you did 500 kicks. That's all and great for conditioning. But the true arts, you need to do 1 or 2 punches, 1 or 2 kicks. You need to learn the techniques of it, because when you do them in real life situations, you're not doing 300 kicks, 300 punches. No. You're doing 1 kick. You're doing 1 punch. You do it right the first time. So my theory is, do it right 10 times, then wrong 100 times.
Yep, sure.
So that's one thing about the videos and online, is that you're able to do that and do it on your time and your abilities. And some people really can't do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups. They can't do that nowadays.
This is it. I think with myself, my experience with teaching, I think you lose a lot of the people that couldn't keep with the class, but it's not necessarily they didn't enjoy it. It's just, if you've got a particularly good class and they can only make it to that night when it's all of the fit guys, and you've obviously got to train your fit guys to high ends and
compete,
the intermediate or beginners tend to flag, and I think with home study and that kind of thing, you've eliminated any embarrassment, haven't you? You're there behind closed doors.
The basic course of university teaches everything you need as a core martial artist. They're not going to teach you to do a 316 jumping, spinning back kick. I'm sorry, but 1 out of how many million can actually do that? Okay. And those are the young 19-year-old kids. I'm sorry. So that's going to be, they can go to those schools there. So it's going to teach you the core values. And one thing about the core values is that the core values teach you mentally along with physically.
Sure.
And like I always tell people, 80% mental, 40% physical, but there's always a 20% variance there, is that you learn mentally how to do it, because when you have to do it to protect yourself, because ultimately it's about self-protection.
Sure.
Ultimately, no matter what, protecting your family, protecting yourself, you're walking home from school, work, with your children, it's all understanding that mental capacity. Can I do what I need to do?
Yeah.
Do I have the right capacity in my own mind to make sure that that punch is done correctly, or that block, or that kick? Or to be honest, a true martial artist never has to use his art. Ever.
Well, this is it. If you can just not be there in that situation, that's
Correct.
fine. That's the best self-defense.
You want to use it if you have to use it, right?
Yeah,
but no one is there is a basically yes.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, obviously, Martialpreneur, we like to talk about the business side of things, and the business in martial arts, and how that pans out. I mean, how many sort of numbers are training online? Can you tell us about sort of numbers or?
Well, we currently have representation in every country right now. So let's say 80% of every country right now is represented in the university, which is interesting. Our fees are less than 1/3 of a normal martial arts school. So you join for $19.
Yes. University,
and they give you the first 2 courses. They're called modules. So if you go to a regular school, you would learn your first ninth GUP is called ranking, which will be the basic core, usually a 3-month course, and that's given to you for the first 2. So you're given 9th and the 8th as part of the university for the $19.
Right.
So it's really a lot cheap. Yeah, it's a lot, very, very inexpensive for that. And then the actual module is only $49 for each module. So each module you get actually gets you more advanced techniques and also reviews. And we actually go and update the modules constantly, so there's new things in the modules even going back. So you actually can do that. And the one thing about our university is that testing is not required.
Okay.
It's not required to test. You don't have to test to go up and learn about the martial arts.
Sure.
You don't have to become a black belt. You don't have to become a blue belt or yellow belt, green belt. You don't have to do that. You can still learn the techniques and never have to go to any testings. Testings are optional. They're nice to have.
Yeah.
I admit that. I love testings.
Yeah.
I tested for my 7th degree black belt 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So I know how that goes.
Yeah.
They are tough testings to get different levels. But we have done something unique recently as we're doing transfer students. We're finding students that went to a school that spend 2 or 3 years or 6 months or 3 months at a school, got a ranking or a belt system. And our feeling is this: if you earned it, you keep it. I don't care what style it is. You earned it, you keep it. Yeah. And that's the important part. We don't want you to go backwards and have to start all over again. Okay. So if you come to a university as a blue belt or a 4th GUP or 3rd GUP or 2nd or 5th GUP, whatever ranking you have, if you have the documentation that says that, then we transfer you into the university as that ranking. Yeah. So we keep you to go forward instead of backwards. That's something about the university offers.
Well, that's great, and I think that there's. I know in the UK here now, there's lots of clubs that sort of stop and start and go under for whatever reason, and there's a lot of sort of ghost students, I like to call them, and have done a bit of something, and then that class didn't work out, and they've had to move to the next thing. So I think that's good. I think that's really admirable as well, because a lot of, I know I'm probably going to tread on some toes with saying some associations will say, no, you go back to white belt, even if it's the same style,
Most all of them do. Even the schools that I'm familiar with will say, you came from black belt from X my school. They don't teach the exact same way. Yeah. But to be honest, the core values are the same. Doesn't make a difference. Yeah, the core values are the same. If you have the right core values and you earn that, and of course, we always make them make sure they're up to that speed. Just to say you're a black belt, be honest, it's a belt.
You've got to make it different. You've got to back it up.
You got to have the technique to make. Exactly. So
I'm 12th dan. Yeah.
I'm 12th dan. Yes. Okay. Yes. Wow.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's great.
What story about that?
That is a really good way of doing things. I think that's quite admirable to do that, because like I say, it's I think some groups are just cut off their nose to spite their face. That puts people away. They think, well, it's sort of. Yeah, it's sort of Really?
When I got our guys together to develop this, we had a board of directors actually runs the university. Obviously, I'm the president and CEO. We have international ambassadors and we have vice presidents of different areas. And one of the things they focus on is bringing those people that lost the arts, I call it, that were beat down, that left for certain reasons, and get them back into those arts, because deep down they had it. And my personal feeling is when you train in martial arts, you always will have it. Yep. It's there in your mind no matter what. It's there. Yeah. You got to bring it back out again. And I think that if you have the right skill sets, we feel we can teach anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
no matter who it is.
I think, and it's a testament to you as an instructor if you can do that, because I know myself, I fell out of love with the traditional martial art, with the karate. My background was karate, and I fell out of love with it slightly, and then I found an instructor who he showed me a different side to karate, and just sort of, that his teaching reignited my passion to look outside of it, and that was great, and that's just testament to good teaching. I think, it's whether it's whatever style it is, if, like you say,
whatever style, have a passion for it. And we have a lot of students that come from different styles that join the university because they've lost that little bit of passion. And one of the things that we're looking at is bringing in more styles to bring those passions back, because arts, there's different arts, have different reasons, have different skill sets and different qualities. Not everybody's the best, I'll be honest with you. Yep. Nobody's the worst.
That's right.
There's good and bad in everything you learn. It's whatever fits your lifestyle and you the best.
Yeah, that's
Some people like Taekwondo, some people like karate, some people like Jiu-Jitsu, Hapkido, Kendo. Whatever you like, that's your passion.
Yeah, sure. That's great. So, you've obviously built it on the website platform. I've got my notes here. If I'm looking over here, there's no one over here. It's
that's fine.
My notes.
That's fine. The platform was interesting. Yep.
I just obviously it's on a web-based platform. I mean, what was there? Was there any difficulty, struggles? I know
yes, we did actually. My advice for people that are going to do some filming: make sure you have in your mind to film what it is you're going to be able to perform or going to portray as a message. Through a 1 week of training, 1 week of filming, brought a crew in. Did the whole filming in the studios and threw it all away after a whole week.
Yeah.
Threw it all away. We liked it. It was great. We had 60 people there during the first filming. Yeah. And then we sat back with the board and said, this was great, but it didn't teach what we wanted to teach. We went back to the drawing board again and rewrote scripts and rewrote methods and took a complete course of martial arts and broke it down and said, what do people want to learn and how do they want to learn this? Yeah. So then we went to 6 to 7 people instead of having 60 people there, which made a big difference. Of course, the film crew was huge and the producer was great. Great job. We hired one of the best web designers actually in our country, in the U.S., Nicholas Creatives, and they actually controlled and managed the website, developed it for us. And that was about 16-month process just for that alone. Yeah, I think just developing that.
I think two things you hit on there. I think people quite often don't realise that with filming, and it's banded around a lot, with lots of information, marketing, and those kinds of just video what you know, just video what you know. But actually, it's simple when you're doing a normal class, but when you've got to get it right first time and it makes sense and anyone picking it up can understand it, you have to know so many takes.
Well, people learn differently. And when you try to explain something to somebody, you're trying to explain them to this kick or this punch or this technique, you have to understand that everybody's listening to you a little differently. So how do you make that so they can understand those techniques and things from you? Yep. So that takes several different times to make that right. And that's the filming. So we actually did the modules. We did the modules in sets for matches up the course. So if your yellow belt course is the module course, and then you for yellow belts in that module. And you click on different parts of the module. I can learn to kick, punch, block, forms, and that kind of stuff too. Yep. So we put things in the module. So not only the filming was difficult, and then the web design was amazing through Nicholas Creative. He did a great job there. Then we had to go through the editing of the process and put those in the modules.
Right.
The editor had to go through that, edit all out the stuff, and put the music in.
Take a long time.
And put so this wasn't an overnight project, as you can tell. So and we're always.
How long's it been? How long's it taken?
It's been a little over 2 years now.
Mm-hmm. So it's a
little over 2 years.
I think it's a good, in a way, it's a good thing, because I think it scares off people who are like, your overnight kind of, get rich quick kind of people.
Well, actually, this is interesting. It's not a get rich quick, as you can tell by our fees, our costs. We've invested a lot more than we're making back. A lot more. We're making back. And it's interesting. When we first brought the board of directors together, it wasn't, and the investors together, it wasn't about the return on money. We wanted to find a way to attract students that wanted to learn worldwide. And we want to be the first to do it. And this is the first site out there to do that. And my theory is, if you worry about money, it'll never come.
No.
So if you can worry about helping people first, then it'll come.
Well, that's it. I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's your quality. You concentrate on quality.
All is quality.
The rest will follow. Yeah, it's just be honest with yourself and everyone else around you, and you can just.
So if you're gonna do your own filming or editing for yourself, make sure you really know who's working for you. Know your editor. Know your producer. Know your film crew. Know what they can and can't do. Trust their judgment. Listen to them. Listen to them. If they say you need to stand this way, stand this way. They know the lighting group. Yes, they're better than the rest.
This is spooky. It's like, because I was talking to you, I've done some filming over the last 6-7 months for TV, but it's the same process. You listen, if the cameraman says this is not looking great, you do it the other way, not what you think.
And it's interesting in martial arts, you get 4 or 5, 6 masters together that all have their own skill sets. And to do that's why if in the university I had each one of the black belts and the masters do different parts of it. So everybody's in part of this. So not one person is doing everything, because everybody learns differently, and you can relate to someone differently. So everybody does a side kick a little bit differently. You can see the different ways they do kicks. Different sizes, different ages, groups. So that made it better for us to teach students, whoever the students are. And one thing about our site that was unique, that we had it set up that you can learn any language. We have 36 different languages on there, so you can actually click the site and say, this is my language now, and it converts into that language.
That's amazing.
The written site. The verbal site does not change, obviously, because I can't speak my language, but the written itself on the course itself and what you're learning will convert into that language. So that was really a tough thing to do and to set up, but it was a really benefit for us for people outside the country, outside of the U.S.
That's great. I mean, that's really good. And like we were talking about technology and things, I think things have moved on. Every year it leaps on, doesn't it? Like tenfold. What you can do.
Just today.
And it's there's even a lot of free stuff. I mean, I'm working on showing our viewers how to build a membership site, but on a smaller scale, not as big as yourself, but something they can have just attached for their club or their dojo. And there's loads of stuff that's free now as well, like good programs and things that you can just help you build this stuff or put together. Like you say, you've got a program there that can translate into another language. I think that's a massive market change for you, isn't it? That's so much, many more people that's available to. Well, luckily that it transfers back to the English when I see it. Because people from Saudi Arabia, I can't speak the language, so lucky it transfers back, and we're like, okay, we're good. Fingers crossed, I understand it. But that's great, though. I mean, that's part of the fun of learning together, isn't it? And this has been a fun project. Stressful at first, but the ending product it's been so much fun. The interaction with the students, and it's so seamless to join. It's so seamless to go through. It's just like, it's amazing how easy it is once we got it all set up. Of course, everybody has glitches in the world. Glitches are, our glitches, be honest, for people doing sites, the glitches are when you upload back to the site, because different countries use different server systems and different places. So, it goes through a YouTube system. So it's really sometimes a little bit difficult. And bandwidths are different. I'm not a technical guy, obviously, so I'm the teaching guy. So those kind of things. So that's the glitches we have with students, and we work with them and say, okay, can you send us a different format, different file in those different processes? Yeah, well, that's cool. And it's like you say, it must be an evolution, a learning process. Once you've got that, you're giving something that's really not that widely available. There's not very many people out there that are putting together something that sounds as vast as what your teaching program is there. And you're gonna find those things out then, aren't you? We're going to be the test palette for people. Yes, we're going to be exactly. That's why I wanted to speak to you. I'm picking your brains now. Martial arts. Allen University is the first to hit worldwide to do a complete full course with certification. You can go to courses out there that have people go to your studios to test and stuff, and we're the first one to actually offer students national and international certification right from the site, which is very rare to have, and we've got the authority to do it.
We got the backing from the associations to do it, which makes it fun for everybody to be able to learn that. One of our goals in the future is to have more schools, more students, more styles, put their styles on our site to be able to attract anybody. You can have somebody that has a school in, let's say, England that wants to put his school on the site so he can track students all over the world himself too, to what he does or she does.
Yeah.
So that's one of our goals, is to attract students that want to do that, or schools, owners, or trainers that want to do that. Not only in martial arts, is one of our focuses. The university opened up not just martial arts, but health and wellness, yoga, anything to do with fitness at all. Anything to do with fitness at all for students. We actually have a health and wellness director, Sandy Sanderson, and you saw that at site, and she handles all that type of stuff. And she's in the medical field. So we have military now, and we have police. So we're developing those kind of things too.
Right.
So,
and it's exciting times, and I think there is so many other avenues and markets, and learning this stuff. Like I say to friends of mine who I talk about sort of doing online training, and that is, once you learn those skills, it can be applied and taught to anyone, in any sector. And I think there's still pockets of the world that are a bit behind with bringing training online, not just the martial arts, but just a lot of different
overall
sectors.
Training itself. Because one thing that I found about training is that martial arts teaches you discipline, teaches you self-control, motivation. And as a business leader, as a leader of a company, a CEO or a president of a company, learning that self-confidence makes you better at your job.
Absolutely.
Makes you better what you do around you. Makes you better. I call a better man, a better woman for whatever you're doing. No matter if you're a factory worker, or if you're a white collar worker of a company, it makes you better inside.
Yeah.
And if you're better inside, it makes you better within the people you work with and the families you have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I saw a list somewhere. I have to put it on the website. There was a list somewhere, sort of like successful people in the martial arts, and it was you wouldn't realise they were martial artists as well. And there's some big names there, so there's it's definitely a link.
Very big league, yes. I tell people the true martial artists you'll never know by looking at them.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll never tell you.
Apart from the nunchuckers.
That's right. Yes.
So, I mean, what sort of things? I mean, sort of getting back to the website and things. How have you found like marketing or
marketing right now is strictly been online. It's been through Google searches, and obviously we're number one in the Google searches. That seems to be a biggest thing. We're actually looking for a program now to be able to market individual martial arts schools, martial arts people individually, different avenues. There is a limit to online marketing. There is a limit. You can only do so much with the skill sets you have and also the costs and stuff too. So we're looking at different avenues.
Sorry, I was just saying it can turn into a bit of a bottomless pit sometimes with like for pay per click and that kind of thing. You can just
we don't do pay to click at all. We found out that we actually pay for services. We pay for Google searches. We'll pay the upfront fees, and that seems to be more cost efficient for us in the avenue we're doing. I personally don't like pay to click myself personally, and that's just my personal opinion. Some people like pay to click, but I think it's if you just use the right skill sets to get yourself out there, and the web is the best way to do it right now. Word of mouth has been great for us. Word of mouth has been amazing for us. People have seen this and interviews and calling us and doing different like this, the interviews. And that's been a great thing for us all over the world to see someone actually attract that and use it and look at it and see it.
Well, I think there's another thing as well. It's just being open and networking with people, and like you say, word of mouth, and that's always worked. I think well in times gone by before the internet. So I think why wouldn't it work?
Never burn a bridge that you might cross again tomorrow.
Hey, that's some good advice there. That's some good advice. So I mean, it can be. I know of personal experience trying to get things marketed and pay per clicks very expensive and can be, and just sort of networking, those kinds of things. Is there anything else that's helped you guys out, that's worked well? Or
the social network has been great.
Really?
Facebook, LinkedIn, that type of Google Talks and Google searches and Google Friends and those kind of things have been really good for us. We found out that once people see that, people are interested in the martial arts, they click on those, and that's been a help a lot. So I think the social media has been probably 80% of our marketing process, the social media.
That's great.
That's been a great thing for us.
I was just chatting to some chaps who will be on the show soon, in a couple of weeks' time, and they run a martial arts travel agency, and they just have recently just set up there. He was just talking casually to me, and he said, "Oh, I've just put our Facebook page up, and I could see the figures because I had it up in the background, and there was 9,000 likes on there." And I said, "You've got 9,000? It's only been up for a couple of weeks." He said, "So yeah, maybe 3 weeks it's been up." And I'm like, how does that happen? So I'm hopefully going to get his advice on social media and
social media. That's where it's at. Yeah,
Facebook. Yeah, but it is amazing. It's so powerful. There's so people to share stuff and be able to comment and share it to mates is really good, really good. So, what are you going to do in the future? What's the plan for the future?
Well, actually, the university is currently opening itself up for we're looking for instructors. We're looking for anybody that's interested in adding to the site. One thing about a university is no longer, it's just like a college university. You're able to put any kind of site on there. We can put anything from how to fix a car to how to make a machine. So it's open to any type of things that can help people if someone out there has an idea.
Yep.
So this is a program I have that I've been developing, a home program or something like that. They'd like to put on our site. We're welcome to entertain that. Welcome to look at those programs and say, is it helping best for the benefit of I call it mankind? If it's a benefit, we're open to it. If it benefits, great, we're open to it. Right. And those kind of things. Other styles would be great to put in there.
Yeah.
Taekwondo's been the focus, but I love to put other styles in. I love to put some karate styles in there. I love to put some other weaponry in there and stuff too. Self-defense, women's, kids programs, or anything that can help them. It helps bring revenue for that school too, because we're hitting a worldwide initiative, and the platform's there already.
Yeah,
the platform's there. We have the platform.
You've done the legwork there. So
we've done the legwork. It's simple. If I was somebody who had a martial arts school that really wanted to attract more students up to it, I'd put them on our site too. It's just me.
Well, I tell you what. So where, if anyone's interested or maybe thinking about doing that, where can they get hold of you? What's the best way?
Your best way to go to the site. We have different emails on the site itself. Yep. martialartsonlineuniversity.com.
Yep.
You can go to the site, and there's an information there system. There's also directly to me as president at martialartsuniversityonline.com.
Right.
And you can go on there and actually send me an email directly, personally, to me.
Fantastic. Hey, well, that's great. So that's just to clarify. So that's www.martialartsuniversityonline.
Martial Arts Online University.
Online University.
martialartsonlineuniversity.com. Correct. Martial Arts Online.
We got it. I'll put a link up underneath the video here and also on the site. So for those of you watching who are interested, you can just click that and go straight to it. So I'll pop that in there for you.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Richard, I think you've answered all my questions, all my interrogation.
I love that. Thank you very much. We're open. People will welcome anytime you want to talk to us about the site or what we're doing here. We'd love to be able to talk to anybody across the country.
Hey, that's brilliant. That's great. So yeah. If anyone's got any questions, then let us know, and we'll get you back on maybe in the future. See how it's going.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Richard. That's great.